I'm the negative house on the debate. Social media is necessary for democracy. There are three main points I want to cover as to why social media is not a necessity for our democracy. For starters, some of the first social medias were back in the 90s with MySpace and AOL and things like that. The first computer, as we would think about it, wasn't even built until the early 60s, late 50s. And social media didn't even become popular until the invention of Facebook in around 2005. However, our democracy has been around since 1776, July 4th. And even then, it was an old idea. The Greeks invented democracy thousands and thousands of years ago. The Magna Carta was written in 1400s. And our democracy has ever been evolving since then. So to say that social media is necessary for our democracy is to say that we haven't had democracy until 1993, which is impossible. Meaning that all those presidents that we elected before were elected under a false pretense of democracy, which is a ridiculous statement in and of itself. Number two, I want to state that not everyone uses social media. To say that social media is a necessity for our democracy, it means that you would have to have social media in order to use democracy. And while social media is an incredibly powerful platform, there are tons of people who don't use it. Lots of older generations don't use it. Mostly boomers and Generation X people don't use social media as much. And kids in poverty who don't have access to things like phones or laptops and things like that, they don't have access to social media. Even their parents wouldn't have access to social media due to their low income. So to say that social media would be a necessity for our democracy would be excluding two very large groups of people in our democracy. In fact, older generation come out in larger numbers than the younger generation, and they're the ones who use social media the less. So to say that is impossible. You're basically gonna say that almost 50% of our population in the United States shouldn't be allowed to vote, shouldn't be allowed to be a part of our democracy, simply because they don't use social media, simply because they don't have a Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or anything like that, which is an impossible statement. And number three, and probably the largest point I want to bring up tonight, is that social media is often harmful to our democracy. Let me elaborate on how I believe it's harmful. Number one, with the invention of social media, we have slacktivism. Slacktivism is people go on social media and talk about, wanting to go vote and, wanting to go to polls, but the study found in 2015 showed that there was a Facebook page of about 1 million people who said they were going to go vote. But of those 1 million people, only about 300,000 of them went and actually voted. Slacktivism creates a sense of laziness in our democracy, and this is because of social media. Social media, people use it to generate buzz, and voting is often seen as a buzz-generating thing, but people don't actually go vote. They don't actually participate in democracy, and not even just voting. A lot of people don't watch the speeches that go on. They don't go to any of the candidate rallies. They don't contribute. All these things are offered on social media, but no one uses them. And another part of why I believe social media is hurting our democracy is obviously the 2016 election. Russia used Facebook and spam and hackers to influence our democracy, to influence the presidential election. So to say that social media is a necessity to our democracy, I would agree with you in that I believe it's necessary to destroy our democracy. I believe social media is necessary if you want to hurt our democracy, to people who are jealous or don't want our democracy to exceed. So in conclusion, to say social media is a necessity for democracy is irrelevant. Democracy was here way before social media, and it will be here way after. Not everyone uses social media, but everyone uses our democracy. And social media has been hurting our democracy for the past 10 to 20 years. This house negates the idea that social media is necessary for our democracy. Thank you.